Hello, 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 and welcome to Lunchtime with Dr. Nadine. Today, I have a special guest with me. I'm sure that most of you have seen her on my news feed for the past few months. She's been doing amazing things. We have Jermila Sealys with us. She lives in the UK, but right now she's on vacation in St. Lucia. Jermila, for 6 years, had to deal with the sudden death of loved ones who died in close proximity to each other. And after years of battling all of her emotions and pain, she mustered the courage to release that pain, grief, and loss. And she's ready to empower others to step out of the shadows of grief, pain, tears, fears, and guilt because she wants to help other people know how to grieve. Jermila, right now I'm in Orlando. I came to, even though I'm so excited and pumped up to be with you right now, my heart is a little sad because I came here because one of my friends actually was buried today. And so the funeral was yesterday. And so today we're talking about grief. And so just tell our listeners, and wherever you're joining us from, we want you to tell us in the chat what part of the world are you joining us from, whether you're joining us on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, whichever medium. We are excited to have you here, but I want to know where you're joining us from, so please drop that in the chat. And Jermila, in the meantime, can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jermila Sealys. I'm based in the UK. I'm a nurse by profession. I'm an ex-military veteran because today it's all about the Queen in the UK, her funeral and the nation in mourning. I've written my book. I'm an author. I can call myself an author now. Letting the pain out, learning to release from grief and loss. Because this is a personal journey to me. For 6 years, going through grief of loved ones suddenly, my mother and my sister especially. So basically, this is me in a nutshell.
Awesome, awesome. And so, ladies, if you have been following us for the past 2 years, I'm sure that you met Jermila last year because I introduced her after she went through the speaker mentorship program when she told us about her experiences of grief and loss. Now she's not coming to us just as the speaker, she's coming to us as an author. So we would love to see your book, Jermila. Just put it on the camera, let the ladies see your book. This is a first-time author. Can you put it closer to the camera? Yes, this is the first-time author. And so Jermila went through the speaker mentorship program. And from the work that we did there, she was able to write a book. I had the privilege of attending. It's okay. Thank you so much for showing it to us. I had the privilege of attending her book launch in the UK in June. And what an honor it was to see this woman, just rise from just being this behind the scenes girl to now being a speaker, and not only that, an author. So Jermila, I would love you to talk with us today about your journey to authorship. What was that like for you?
Oh, it was an amazing journey, such a healing journey, because as I write my stories, I had to be truthful to myself. Either I let the public know who I am, or either I left details out. So I had to be truthful and write about everything, from the emotions that I was going through to when I felt my healing was coming through to me. I had to let out the truth. Some of them was painful to write, crying at times because I had to revisit some of the losses that we've gone through. And it was such an amazing journey, especially having such a superb mentor who holds your hand and help you walk through the pain. And at times you pushed us. And when you push me for the best result. And I was very grateful for that.
Awesome. I mean, you are, to me, like, you're like, I told you I enjoy working with you because I'm still working with you right now on your second book and also in my mastermind. But you are an excellent young woman because you're so coachable. And I think that's the reason why your results come so quickly, because you trust me, you trust God, you trust the process, and the results are here. And so you were the first one in the Elite Book Coaching Experience to launch. So Jermila, you talked generally about your healing during the program, but I think our viewers want to know some more specifics, because I mean, you're writing. Talk to us a little bit about these emotions, because we went through the speaker program and you wrote your story, but now you're writing your book, so you're digging deep. What type of emotions were coming up for you while you were writing?
Whilst I was writing, I had to revisit anger a lot of the time.
Anger.
Because I was very angry at myself for not being there, because I was a health professional and I wasn't there for my sister when she died suddenly. I wasn't there with my family to see firsthand emotions of what they were going through. Um, guilt, guilt on the part of being able to know what to do. Someone who's suffering from a seizure, or someone who just fall, or maybe you would have done CPR, you would have checked for the pulse, you would have done so many things that you would have done with as knowledge of a healthcare professional. A first responder on a scene, you would have done those things. I wasn't there. So I felt really guilty. I felt like I let my family down a lot. And
Mhm.
also, being the eldest, I realized that I was being a mom to my siblings, and they didn't want a mom. They wanted a sister, a big sister. And I took on the role as the person in charge of everything. So I wasn't sharing the load, and I wasn't really being there for myself. And it was almost my own fault, because I didn't allow them to take on the responsibilities that they could have taken on, because they're also adults. My niece needed us, and we we felt like maybe the children were too young to understand what happened at the time, because it's sudden death and you think children are too young to understand, but silently they were grieving as well. They were displaying behaviors that were questionable, and that's easy. When you're going through grief, you'll find a way to cope. You do things to find a coping mechanism for yourself. um, I felt tears when the emotions, like even whilst I was writing the book, it was the anniversary of my mom's death, and I had to revisit that again to relive it, to know that she's no longer here and she just left me suddenly. She just died. And also being in St. Lucia, the first few weeks was maybe a little bit challenging, but didn't show it, because there are places that mommy would be and then sometimes she's not there. The
Mhm.
things that she would do, she's not there. My sister, when I see the children and they're going back to school, you feel a bit sad that she was not there to see them do those things. But as I write my book, as I'm growing, I learning to move on with those emotions. I cannot put them on a back burner, but I have to move on with them. I have to sail the wave and sail along with the emotions. It will never go away, but it will always be a part of us. We just have to learn to move on with it.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, because I'm sure some of our viewers would have gone through some of those emotions that you mentioned, like the guilt, feeling as if I should have been there, I could have done more. And I saw you in that process, and my heart broke because I didn't know what to tell you, because you had all these feelings, but I wasn't there for my sister. And you were feeling as if it was your fault. We know it's not, but as a professional, I guess, especially because you're in health, you're
Yeah.
thinking like, what could I have done differently? And I'm sure some of our viewers are going through that same thing. I am dealing with a little bit of that kind of guilt as well, even losing a friend. So I can't even imagine what you were going through, with your mom, with your sister, and so many others. And I think in the past few weeks, you have lost other family members as well. So the losses have continued, right?
Yes, the loss is continuing. We've lost a family members during the week as well.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
So although we know death is a natural part of life, when it happens, it hurts. It stings very
Mm.
much. And it's a process that no matter how much education you have, you'll still question it. So death is natural, but when grief happens, it comes with its own questions, its own set of answers that you're looking for.
Look at you. I'm so proud of you. Hey, my expert on grief talking. I'm so proud of you. I feel like a proud mama right now. Now, the thing is, Jamila, I want to take our viewers a little back. So, you went through the speaker program with me, and I remember we had this exit call, and I said, Jamila, what's next? You and two other ladies practically pushed me into launching a book program. Why did you do that?
Because during our speaker mentorship program, you keep telling us everything is content. Keep it. keep them. So I had so much content and I needed to put it somewhere. So that's why we really pushed you to do the book. And as we did the speaker program, you don't put everything. You can pen the whole journey. So
Right.
it's easier to pen the whole journey in a book. And people will be able to get access to the book. Some people might never see you speak, but they might see the book and want to read the book.
Absolutely. And you've done amazing in that. And the thing about it is that while we were going through the speaker program, I did say to you, ladies, this content can one day become your book. Did you think that it was going to become your book so quickly?
No, not really. I thought maybe I'll just have those content in my computer and one day I'll be searching for them and probably lose them as well.
Oh,
But
wow. There's something interesting you told me, a few interesting things, because we had some really amazing conversations while I was in the UK there with you. And I remember one of the things you told me, you said, I never dreamt of being an author.
yes.
Talk to us about God redirecting your dreams, because you put it so beautifully. I would love you to speak to that, because there are many women who probably thinking that the only thing I should be looking forward to in life are the things that I dream about. But here you are as an author today, never having that dream. And I love how you say it, so I won't say it. I need you to tell our viewers a little bit about how God redirected your dreams.
Um, Growing up, I always thought I would have been an athlete because I used to be the track athlete in my school. You'd speak, even speaking to people. Someone, when he sent the flyer out, one of my classmates said, "Oh, wow, she's a superb athlete." I remembered her. So a lot of people remembered me as an athlete, but I did not get that chance to pursue that dream. So then I went to the army, and I think it was all God's plan. Then God put me in your path in 2016, way before my sister died. So
Hmm.
I never knew God were rewriting that dream that I did not know that I had. And whilst we were writing in the speaker mentorship program, and then I saw the mock-up of my book, that was the first thing that says, wow, how amazing God is to change you from the path that you started all along, that you are focusing on. I'm focusing, whilst we were doing that, the book, I'm still focusing on nursing full time because that's what I know best. That's what I know how to do. So I'm still focusing on my career as a nurse, not realizing that God had other plans and He's rewritten my dream that I did not even dreamt of. And He turns me into an author. And it's amazing. It's so amazing how God can do stuff just by putting you in the path of one person that allows you to go through the journey. And He put me in your path because He knows that you're so easy to work with, and I would be able to work with you. Being from the military, giving 100%, you have to give back 100%. So as much as you gave me 100%, I had to give you 100%. I couldn't fail you because I knew we were the one who told you, let's do this with us, and you keep saying you've never done a book with your clients, and then you took us on, and it was so amazing going through that experience for 6 months. And that it just happens. It's just, and it's amazing how God does. He actually write the story for you. There are mornings when I used to write on Facebook, wow, God is writing the story. Like the words just keep flowing. I didn't have to think deep or search hard for it. And when God redirects your dreams, He makes it everything possible. I didn't even have to think. Literally, I just open the computer and the thoughts are just downloading into me, and I just have to put it on the paper.
Awesome sauce. I love it. By the way, I did walk clients through before. I remember one of my clients in 2020, I did help her to structure and publish a book, but I never took it on the way I did with you ladies, which was to do everything behind the scenes as you focused on writing. Now, the
Yes.
thing is, I remember having conversations with you ladies about content. And so many times you'll be like, I have no content. And I did say the words, it's everywhere, it's all around you, you have it. And I know that you began to dig deep into different places and you were finding things. And then you also, again, because I love something you just said. I never knew it. I was never in the military. So I didn't know somebody gives you 100, you give 100 back. But I always felt that you gave it. You gave yourself no excuse to be able to produce. I saw how you worked so many hours, but when you showed up in our coaching sessions, I know many times, especially in the speaker program, you look so shy and quiet, and I know it's because your topic was a heavy one. But then when I began to see you emerge, and then when I saw you throw yourself into the book, you did not allow anything. And so I know that distractions came. I want you to talk to us a little bit about distractions in the process, because a lot of us, we're always expecting everything to be perfect before we take on a task. I speak to so many women every day on when I have discovery calls and so on, and many of them would talk about, I have so many things to do. And I say all the time, there will never be a perfect time to do anything. You just need to do what you have to do. You need to make a decision to do it and just do it. I know you had distractions. How did you work through that to ensure, because you were the first one in the program to submit your manuscript, but I know that you had a very hectic schedule. I know that you were working all the time and yet you were still able to produce. How did you minimize distractions? How were you able to focus?
How I was able to focus work wise, I decided, okay, I'm going to make writing after I have my devotion in the morning. I'm going to delegate an hour before I get ready for work. And I started writing. So instead of waking up at 5 o'clock, which was the normal waking up period, I used to wake up around 3:30.
Mm-hmm.
And then I delegate that time for my writing. And in the evening, when I come from work, sometimes I leave work at about 9 o'clock and I write till about 10,
Wow.
11. So around that time, I'm delegating this time. I said, even if it's 100 words,
Mm-hmm.
it will count. It will matters, because if I put in 100 word every day, I will, by the end of the week, I'll have 500.
Right.
So that was how I was looking at it. And then I was just pushing and pushing. The calls were coming from home, was stuff that needed to be dealt with and stuff that used to get me really angry. I'm not gonna lie. To the point where I had to say some words to my aunties, and then later on, I felt really guilty and to apologize about it. But then I had to say, you know what, these things will have to wait. I will have to put it on at the back of my mind and focus, forget about them. And then when I did that, it was still there, but I choose not to focus on it. And can
Mm.
you imagine? After the baby is born, there's no more distraction.
Exactly. I remember you told me that you said the day I submitted my manuscript, no phone calls came. And
No.
so, can you imagine if you focus on the distractions? I mean, there is a lesson here, ladies. There's a lesson. If you're listening, if we focus on the distractions, we will never get anything done. Okay, or
Yes.
we will not get the task complete. I think maybe that's more reflective of what I want to say. Because when we focus on the distractions, the job will remain unfinished. And in your situation, what you did was to kind of stop it. Of course, you probably would have given some stern words. You went back to apologize. There's a business saying, I don't remember it, but they say do it and apologize later. That's exactly what you did, and the task was complete. And by the time you submitted your manuscript, no calls came in. I want to just take a little pause just to give a shout out to those joining us in the house. We have Candice Andrews joining us from Trinidad and Tobago, Virtuous Woman joining us from the UK, Ruby joining us from Maryland, USA. Candice is congratulating you as a first time author. You're getting
Thank
accolades here.
you.
Ava is saying, good job. Ava is now in my speaker mentorship program cohort. She's in Trinidad. We have Maren joining us from St. Lucia. We have Khalil O'Brien. That's one of my colleagues who went to USC with me. He's joining us from LinkedIn. He's saying hi. Shanda is joining us from St. Lucia. So you have your support right here. Folks are joining us from all over the world. If you're now coming in, drop in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. We have Rena. Rena is saying, well done, Jermila. Jermila, it was because of you, Rena came into my speaker mentorship program earlier this year. She saw you featured in my women's magazine, and she was like, if Jermila could do it, I could do it too. And Jermila came in, Rena came in, and I'm so proud of Rena. Rena, thanks for joining us as well today. So, Jermila, you are now an author, a dream that you never had. You are speaking. I mean, I saw you on the news in St. Lucia. I saw you on HTS News. I was look at my girl. You had read your interviews. I mean, you were featured in the UK in different magazines on the conference's website. You're doing amazing things. What does it feel like to be an author right now? How do you feel?
Um, Words cannot really explain what I it feels like because it wasn't a dream. You know, if you were chasing a dream, you have words for it. You'll feel excited. You feel over the moon because you've accomplished something. Just like you have a bucket list. That wasn't part of my bucket list, so I couldn't tick it. But now I've put it on top of my list and I've ticked it off because I'm now an author. And being an author doesn't mean it stops there. It feels so good to be an author that you can put your words into paper on paper. And it feels good with the feedback that people are saying that they can relate to the story because how it's so true. It's such a beautiful Caribbean tales with, as someone wrote and said, it's a beautiful Caribbean tales with love, anger, sadness, and all of those emotions. But it relates to home. How beautiful it is putting the story together. Sometimes we're ashamed to put our stories together because we're like, oh, people going to read and judge you. And I didn't get that feedback from when people are reading the books and the way they feedback and said how it's relating, they can relate to every aspect of it.
Mhm.
Before, maybe I was shy when I started the speaker mentorship, thinking that people would have judged me. But after I've done it, I'm no longer ashamed of my story. It's my story. I need to walk proudly with it. And as I said, grief doesn't belong to me, it belongs to every single one of us. Even though we haven't gone through it yet, you might have not walked that path, but sooner or later you will. So it happens. It's how we deal with it. And just putting that into a book form
Mhm.
where I can use all of the words that I want as much as, because you keep telling us we have hundreds and hundreds of words inside of us. So
Yes.
I could have put all of my words together and it's helping people. And the reaction, how people are saying the book has helped them, how they read it and they're looking so forward to reading the next one because we've promised them a second one. So they're now looking forward to the next one. Most of the feedback that I'm getting, we are looking forward to reading the second one. And people are going through the same experience as us, and we don't realize that there's a lot of people out there who's grieving silently. And then it's nice to now being able to put it in a form of a book where everybody can identify themselves in the story, up to the food that we eat and even the clothes that we wear. So it's so nice to be an author. I just love the feeling of being an author and
Wow.
doing it well and being the first, and not just the first in my family to leave the legacy for those behind me. And it feels good to like being the first in a family, being the first in the community, and people are looking to see, oh, she's the first, and if she can do it, I can do it as well. I can
Wow.
write my story.
And that's what I realized that when I saw, I mean, your launch in the UK was amazing. The support that you received from your church family and everything, it was just beautiful. But when I looked at the one in St. Lucia, I was like, look at the support that you have, the people behind you. I remember when we were having one of our sessions on a Thursday, and of course, you told me you're going to St. Lucia. I said, remember, you're an author now. You're not going on vacation. You need to carry books. You need to carry the nice dresses. You need to get ready to speak because you're a speaker, you're an author. Your life will not be the same anymore because you're impacting lives. And I saw that in your book launch when I watched in St. Lucia, but also when I looked at the news. And even one of your friends who spoke at your event lost her father a few days later. So it's almost like your book is now there to help her and to guide
Yes.
her. And so I'm really excited for you. So, Jamila, we have women listening here. I want to just shout out Nillian. That's one of Nillian used to be in the speaker mentorship program as well. She's joining us from Jamaica. And so Nillian, we're happy to have you here as well. Jamila, there are women out there, some of them afraid to tell their stories. We started with the speaker program, and as we saw, there was so much value in going through the speaker program before the book program. Do you think that that order was a blessing to you? Was it useful?
Yes, that order was a blessing. I would say do not skip the speaker program because from there you get the um you get the insight, you're driven, so you get the story, you get to finalize that story, but it's in a shorter version. So whilst you're going through it, you're pulling out everything out of yourself. As you say, everything was content, because when we had to write the story, we wrote everything, but then we had to go back and cut it down. So use that platform, use the speaker mentorship platform first to finalize your story, to make sure that you can fine tune it, get comfort in the story, get comfortable with it. So through the speaker mentorship program, it gives you that comfort, it gives you that love, that relationship with your story, that when you personalize that relationship with the story, you now have personalized your story. So now you can move on into the book coaching program and make that story even more beautiful, because now you have more words. You will be able to do it freely with no hesitation. You're just doing it and just allow it to flow.
Yes, you have a friend here saying, amazing to watch your growth, Jay. Love you, my friend. I do not want to mispronounce a name, so that's why I just put on the screen so you can see you're getting some good accolades there. And in
Oh,
case
it's I
you
fear.
I
I
feel.
fear.
I feel. Thank you. I am for joining us. In case you have not gotten your book yet, we have it there on the screen, JamilaSealys.com. You can go order. If you order from her website, you're going to get an autographed copy from the author herself. So you want to take advantage of that. So Jamila, I'm getting ready to work with a new group of women in the book program. This week, we're going to be featuring four other ladies who have launched a book, and one of them getting ready to launch a book. And on Sunday, coming the 25th, I'll be launching my eighth book. And so I went on that journey with you, ladies, but I also worked on that eighth book while I was with you. And so there are women out there I know who want to tell their stories. We have the group, the book coaching program. If there is a lady who needs to tell her story, what would you want to say to her from your experience working with me in the speaker program, in the book coaching experience? What would you say to women out there who need to muster the courage to tell their stories? Not We're not telling stories to tell stories, as we said in our program. It's not about telling the stories because it's about me, but we're using our stories to help others through the lessons that we learned, the transformations, the epiphanies, and all of these different things that would help us to become better and greater women. That's why we tell the stories. What would you say to ladies like that?
I would say to a lady like that, if you not sure, give Dr. Collins a call. By the end of the 30 minutes, you will be sure, because I did the discovery call and I wasn't sure. Even whilst going through the speaker mentorship course, I still wasn't sure. But there are times I wanted to change the message and she said, no, you're not going to. 'Cause I think it was in the third or fourth week when I
Mm-hmm.
said, I think I need to change my story. And she said, no, no, no. You've got a beautiful story and there are people who needs to hear those stories from you. So I
Yes. The secret, I just remembered as you said that, guys, in case you don't know, Jamila and I started working on her second book. Okay. So I'm happy she stuck with her story because her second book is still in line with her message about grief and loss and all of that good stuff. So, Jamila, I'm excited to work with you. I believe that you are an example to your daughter, you're an example to your community, both in the UK and in St. Lucia. I am sure that your life is inspiring so many other young people to dream and even to accomplish dreams that they never had, just as you did. We have another greeting here for you. Well done, Mom. You keep making us proud. Is that Neela?
yes.
She has a new name. That's supposed to be Queen Tisha.
Yeah, Queen Tisha. Her name is Latisha, so she's shortened it to Tisha.
Hello, Quintisha is in the house. Quintisha is amazing. She's her mom's backbone. I mean, I got to see that young lady work, and she's something else. She's the pusher behind her mom. And Jamila, as our time winds down, is there anything else that you want to say to our viewers and viewers tomorrow? We look forward to seeing you at 12 noon again, EST, as we feature another young lady who just recently launched her first book. So, Jamila, any parting words with our audience?
My parting words with our audience is tell the story, join the speaker mentorship program, and then afterwards, write your book. Um, be confident in doing it. And you have a Dr. Collins is a very good mentor. She will actually work you through it. Just give 100%. Show up. Do not hide behind the story. Show up. And like me, after you start your story, you'll be bold enough. You'll be bright enough. You'll even have that spark to try and spark somebody else get somebody on board. People are looking at you and they want to see if you can do it. They can do it as well. You might be a role model to someone without you even knowing. So just do not hesitate. Get on the call, join us, and there is a beautiful friendship that you will establish when you join it, because it's always a group program and you make friends for life.
Yeah.
Friends, the friendship, and they will push you, they will help you, they will even give you some words when you lost the words to say. They will help you. So it's a beautiful settings where we work together and each other encouraging each other on. So you
Yeah.
are your cheerleader, as well as you've got your sisters in the group that cheer you along. We never want to see
Absolutely.
anybody fail, and we work together as a group.
Absolutely. So, ladies, I mean, you heard it from Jamila. So, even though we do the work in the group coaching setting, you have coaching from me, but we also have cheerleading support from women all over the world because we always have a diverse group. And so, you always have support. And I look forward to seeing the more work that you will do as we work through this other book, your second book, and as we just get you out there sharing your message, helping people learn how to deal with grief. Because Ava actually says, she says, make okay. Ifia says she's interested. Nilia says, I agree. Join the speaker mentorship program with Dr. Collins. Um, uh, Rena is saying, make no joke about it. Ava was saying something there. She said, please make grief and grieving okay. And that's the work that Jamila is doing. And so, Jamila, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. And viewers, I look forward to seeing you. Join us tomorrow. When I put the announcement there this evening, you can share that post. And anywhere you share the post, we will go live at the same time. So, Jamila, God bless you on your journey as you help people learn how to release from grief and loss. God bless you.
Yeah,
Bye,
thank
viewers.
you.